It's time for Takes on Takes. You know the drill. You supply the takes. We give you the take on your take today on the Locked On NFL Scouting Podcast.
You are Locked On NFL Scouting with the Draft Dudes, your daily podcast for NFL and college football scouting. Part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
What's better than this? It's guys being dudes here on the Locked On NFL Scouting Podcast. We're the Draft Dudes. I'm Joe Marino from Locked On Bills. He's Kyle Crabbs from Locked On Dolphins. And we are your NFL experts here with you daily to talk team building across the league on the Locked On NFL Scouting Podcast with the Draft Dudes, part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day. We'd like to thank you for making Locked On NFL Scouting your first listen every day, and a big welcome and shout out to our everydayers. You know who you are. Those of you who never miss a single episode, we appreciate y'all being here very, very much. Today's episode is brought to you by Gametime. Download the Gametime app, create an account, and use code LOCKEDONNFL for $20 off your first purchase. Last-minute tickets, lowest price, guaranteed.
Joe, did you drive in today? Or did you take the bus?
I walked down the stairs.
You got that fire in your gut?
Burn it.
We're looking for killers. Kev, on the scale of, for anyone who doesn't know what the heck we're talking about right now, on a scale of least inspiring motivational speeches, where does Jonathan Gannon on, what is it, Take Flight? No, that's the Jets one. It's whatever their in-house documentary is that they do, the Cardinals. They just dropped one. And Jonathan Gannon's given the State of the Union opening things up. And it's worth a minute of your time to watch the clip on social media. Is what
I want to watch the whole thing.
On a scale of 1 to 10, how motivated were you after hearing Jonathan Gannon ask which of his players took the bus and which one of them drove into work today?
It was
and
very
if they had a fire in their gut when they
very
did.
cringe-worthy is what that was. Very cringe-worthy. Motivated. That's not a word I would use to describe the way I felt.
Was that?
And this is the best stuff. This is the best stuff. The Cardinals said, you know what? This is what we put out there to tell the fans that we got the right guy, the right leader. You know?
Where does it fall on the spectrum of Robert Saleh talking about crows and eagles?
I didn't see this.
Oh, not a big Hard Knocks guy, huh?
No, you know what? I used to love it. The last 2 years, I fell off with the Lions last year. Didn't watch a second of it. Haven't watched a second of the Jets one either.
They almost lost me when they split with the two LA teams.
Yeah,
if you're going to do Hard Knocks, don't waste our time doing two teams.
Yeah.
And I think that was 2020, so I get it, like, from an access perspective, like you wanted the league, like the protocols and
COVID, yeah.
Yeah. So I'm aware of that, but yeah, Robert Saleh made a speech about the only bird that will attack an eagle is a crow. And what the eagle will do, instead of fighting back, the eagle will simply soar as high as it can into the sky. And eventually the crow will pass out because it can't survive at the altitudes that the eagles can. And then it will fall to the ground and die off. So you as an eagle, as a member of the New York Jets, what are you doing to soar above all of the crows that are picking at your expectations this year?
I like it.
Yeah.
I like that a lot. I like Robert Saleh. I
do like Robert Saleh as well.
Podcast stuff he's done is really good. I think he's a good leader. So we'll see. We'll see how it all works for the Jets.
You were more inspired by my Spark Notes version of Robert Saleh.
I was like, wow, this is really good. I want to soar like an eagle. Get up there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. I know we have some takes.
Yeah, we got some.
Everybody. We
got some good ones. First couple, we're going to stay in the AFC West here. And this one comes from John. John, a longtime take observer and critic, first-time taker. He said, for the first time in 6 years, Patrick Mahomes won't play in the AFC Championship game. He said, I'm pulling a Joe Marino and taking the field. Kyle, is there a world where the Chiefs are not playing in the AFC Championship game this year?
Sure, there's a world. I mean,
you going to predict it?
No, but that world exists, right? I mean, what, 2 of the last 3 years they had backup quarterbacks come in the AFC divisional round, and it was a dogfight. So absolutely that realm of possibility exists. Do I think this is the year that Kansas City has their AFC West championship streak broken? No, they're going to win it. They've got a pretty decent chance at a bye week and starting with their first playoff game.
Yeah.
In Arrowhead at
Such an advantage, right?
Yeah.
You get that 1 seed and you play the lowest advancing seed in the AFC. So you're probably going to avoid
at home back to Nebraska.
Yeah. Yeah.
So yes, that world exists. I think that world does not exist if Kansas City gets the 1 seed. So the first step to that manifesting itself is somebody else has to be the 1 seed in the AFC.
Chris Jones, I think, is important for them to get figured out.
It's true.
Because that interior D line's kind of rough.
How long did he say he was willing to sit out?
Week 8, I thought.
Guess when Miami plays AFC?
9.
Week 9.
Yeah. Hate that for you.
Darn it.
But at least it's in another country, so
doesn't matter.
Helpful.
If it's in another country without Chris Jones, it's a different.
That's going to be a weird game for me to watch. Like, what if the Chiefs are just cruising and the Dolphins have like a 1-game lead in the AFC East? Like, what am I supposed to do? What do I do?
I don't know. It's between you and
the
football gods.
Yeah,
whatever you want to decide that's up to you.
I'll support John here. I'll say that just it's unlikely for you to make that many AFC Championship games in a row, and so I'll go with him. I'll ride with that. Stack Life would like to tell you this: after starting out 2-6, the Raiders will trade Josh Jacobs and Devontae Adams, if not others, and start the rebuild they should have started this year. And this is coming from a lifelong Raiders fan. Stack Life.
I agree they should have started the rebuild last year. Or at least this offseason when this year went the way that it did. I just don't foresee Josh McDaniels wanting to strip down those pieces, right? I think that's the hardest thing for me to wrap my head around is Josh McDaniels is a second-year head coach saying, okay, now it's not happening 2 years in a row, so we're going to boot perhaps the best running back and perhaps the best wide receiver in the NFL. And now, going into my third year, we're going to commit ourselves to starting from square one. I think that timeline's hard.
The other hard part is if I start a rebuild and I'm the Raiders, Dave Ziegler and Josh McDaniels are not part of it. Those guys got to win. They got to, if I'm Mark Davis, I need to have some inspired belief that these guys can take me in the right direction. Right. And I mean, I'm not optimistic here with the Raiders, but the challenge is going to be, hey, go get me assets to rebuild, but you ain't rebuilding it. Someone else is rebuilding it. So
not a good place to be.
Harrison, a second time take. I guess people are now keeping track of how many times they put in a take. Harrison says, with Chris Jones currently holding out, the Detroit Lions will look to attack in the running game and keep the ball out of Patrick Mahomes' hands. With an improved backfield, the Lions will run for over 150 yards next Thursday night.
So there's a lot of logic here, but I got burned the last time I did a Detroit Lions rushing offense take because I did the bet with Chris. You remember that one?
Yeah,
and it was 2021. It was 2021 Lions, right?
Yeah.
And I said they'd be a top half of the league, and they didn't get it. So I got burned by them. So I'm going to stay away from this one just because fool me once, shame on you. Fool me twice, shame on me. And I will abstain from having a firm opinion here.
Well, I think it's certainly going to be the Lions' plan. They want to go in there, run the football, control the clock, keep 15 off the field. And, I mean, it's leaning into your own strengths. You got David Montgomery. You've got Jahmyr Gibbs. You've got an offensive line. I think that's going to be their path. And I don't see a world where Chris Jones is going to play in that game. And I think that their interior defensive line leaves a lot to be desired without him in there. And so, yeah, I think that's going to be a big part of Detroit's recipe. The bigger question is, can they be good enough on defense to allow them to lean into the rushing offense? Right. I think that's really what it's going to come down to.
You have to have a certain game script where you can't be down 14 points in the first 10 minutes.
Right. And you have to be willing to stick. Like if you get down 7-0, it's like, it's not time to abandon the game plan.
Right.
So
Derek Nottie, Tershawn Wharton, Keandre Coburn, and Neil Farrell is the current 53'd interior defensive lineman for Kansas City, is those physical linebackers are going to be working overtime. And the good news is for them, they've got a couple of them with Nick Bolton and Leo Chenal. You like what those guys bring to the table to help compensate. But yeah, I know what my game plan would be if I'm Detroit, and I'm coming right down the middle.
Oh, maybe you're in on Detroit and them racking up a bunch of rushing stats. Well, then head on over to FanDuel. Get ready for the NFL season with incredible offers from FanDuel, America's #1 sportsbook. Right now, they got some crazy good deals. New customers, you can bet $5 and get $200 in bonus bets guaranteed. And check this out. All customers who bet $5 will get $100 off NFL Sunday ticket from YouTube and YouTube TV. And folks, I got a feeling if you're listening to this podcast, you love the NFL. That means you have Sunday ticket. You don't want to miss any of the games. This is a great deal for you. Check it out now is the best time to join FanDuel. The app is easy to use, and you can bet on everything from spreads and player props and more. So visit FanDuel.com/lockedon and kick off the NFL season with an offer you don't want to miss. FanDuel, official partner of the NFL.
I have a take.
Okay.
From the timeline. It's not a tattle take either. It's just a take that it's a statement that Arif Hassan made. And it says it's a video of Jonathan Gannon. And the comment is, if you combined Jonathan Gannon with Adam Gase, you would have a guy who would blink a normal amount of times. And it's back-to-back videos of Adam Gase at his press conference, his introductory press conference with the Jets, where he is just deer in the headlights. I don't think he blinked once the entire 30 minutes. And then Jonathan Gannon's is him sitting talking to the camera, and he's blinking probably every second or second and a half. Just boom, 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 talking. So, your thoughts?
No, I think that's good. I wish I had the creativity to come up with stuff like that, but I don't. Speaking of Jonathan Gannon, his quarterbacks, this next one comes from Sam. Sam says the rookie, non-first-round quarterback who starts the most games this year will be Clayton Tune for the Cardinals. Says, I'm expecting 8 or more starts.
I think if you're expecting 8 or more starts, you're probably going to be that's the right number for non-first round quarterback this year.
Yeah, we had this conversation with Aiden O'Connell. We talked about, I think I picked Clayton Tune, if I'm not mistaken.
And I picked Aiden O'Connell with the Raiders.
What a race this is going to be. Watch it be neither. That'd be surprising to me if it was neither.
You know what I just did? I just did playoffpredictors.com.
I'm shocked.
This morning. I did a full season. I sat down for 30 minutes and I just picked the whole season again. I probably do it once a week. And it was Raiders and Cardinals both finished with 2 wins.
Man.
I don't like this Raiders team.
Me neither, but I feel like they can get like 4 wins, right?
They can, absolutely.
Yikes. They got some pass rush, right?
The ceiling feels like it's 6, 7.
Sam has another one for us. Only 2 quarterbacks from the group of Phillip Rivers, Eli Manning, Matt Ryan, Cam Newton, and Matthew Stafford will make the Pro Football Hall of Fame.
Okay, say them one by one again.
Phillip Rivers.
Yes.
He's in?
Yes.
Eli Manning.
Probably off his Super Bowls.
Matt Ryan. That's where it gets tough. If you're putting Phillip Rivers in, Matt Ryan's got a case.
Hold on. Give me the next name.
Cam Newton. I don't think Cam Newton gets into you.
I don't think Cam had. He obviously had that. Also, was it 15? The MVP season.
We'll always remember it.
I don't think his peak was long enough.
No, I would agree. And I there was a point in time where I thought he was going to be the best dual threat quarterback in NFL history, and he's certainly up there. But
okay, the next name after
Stafford, Matthew Stafford. That's it.
Probably not.
I think Stafford might have every bit of as good of a case as Rivers and Ryan.
All right, so Matt Ryan, 62,792 career passing yards, 62,000 passing yards.
It's a ton.
124 career wins, 381 career touchdowns, won NFL MVP in 2016, one-time All-Pro, Phillip Rivers. 63, 440 for passing yards, 134 career wins, so he has 10 more career wins than Matt Ryan, 421 career touchdown passes, that is 40 more than Matt Ryan. Did not win NFL MVP, but and he did not have All-Pro, but he had 2 times as many Pro Bowl seasons as Matt Ryan.
I think he's right, only 2. Which 2? I think it's Eli Manning and Matthew Stafford.
Come on,
Stafford,
really?
was if you remember following Stafford's career, he was the first to every milestone of passing numbers you can imagine.
Okay, so here's the deal. Right now, Matthew Stafford has more than 10,000 passing yards less than those other 2 names.
So he's got to play for a little bit longer.
And it's got to be good. And I don't know that this year's going to be good. Cooper Kupp just had a hamstring setback yesterday. That might be a month, so it might impact him for the first 2, 3, 4 weeks of the season. He played in 9 games last year and was not good when he played in them. We're worried about medical stuff with him. I think there's too much unknown with Matthew Stafford, and his resume is not on par with Rivers and Ryan right now. So even though he won a Super Bowl, I get it. How many times has Matthew Stafford made the Pro Bowl? Don't look.
3. I guess it's 3. Yeah,
you're too high.
Okay, so I think Sam's right. There's probably only 1.
Matthew Stafford made a Pro Bowl.
2, I guess. 1.
Once. One time.
It's because
get out of here.
I don't know.
Get out of here with the
Hall
of Fame.
One of these guys. It's Eli Manning's the only Hall of Famer, predictably.
No, I think there's 2. I think it's Phillip Rivers and
Eli?
And Eli, yes.
That's fun. The forever linked those 2 guys.
Greg, I know wins are not a quarterback stat, but how many career winning seasons does Matthew Stafford have?
Come on.
I'm just asking you a question.
It's probably 4 or 5.
Okay, so we have 2011, 10-6. We have 2014, his 1 Pro Bowl season. He went 11-5. Then we had the end of the Jim Caldwell stretch where we went 9-7 and 9-7, and then we had 12-5 in 2021. So he has 5 career winning seasons.
I'm not sure how much that's on Stafford, but
it's not. But the Hall of Fame voters, if we're going to sit down and have a conversation, is Matthew Stafford started 191 career games in the NFL and he only won 89 of them.
Predictively, I think only 1 gets in.
I think 2. I'll take that bet.
No, not.
I'll take that bet with you.
I don't have that level of confidence.
Come on, man. It's a long-term bet.
No, I'm not doing it. Not doing it. Greg says 3 NFC South teams will have a better final record than the bottom 2 AFC East teams. Wow.
So he's thinking the AFC East is apparently going to be very top heavy because the bottom 2 teams in the AFC East have a worse record than the top 3 teams.
3 NFC South teams will have a better final record than the bottom 2 AFC East teams.
I think there's a pretty realistic chance you could have
none.
Yeah. I think the winner of that division could potentially be a 9-10 win team.
To be better than New England, but I think the Jets, Dolphins, and Bills all do better than that.
I'd be inclined to agree with you. So it's a hard pass for me.
Dolphins Craze says the Saints defense has a top 8 year in yards and points due to their schedule.
They do have a cush schedule.
They got good defensive talent as well. I like
them. Did we do that a couple weeks ago where we went through the quarterbacks that they had to play this year?
We did it for some team. Top 8, top 25% of the league.
Right. So it's a upper quartile, right?
Upper quartile. They've got, Baker Mayfield, Bryce Young, and Desmond Ridder as the quarterbacks in their division. There's 6 of their games right there.
This isn't even a hot take. They were 5th in yards and 9th in points last year.
Oh, sign me up for this. Sign me up for this.
This is a slam dunk. If you're looking for a fantasy defense, go get the Saints. The schedule. Ryan Tannehill, Bryce Young, Jordan Love. They get quarterbacks in their like second and fourth career starts. Baker Mayfield, Mac Jones, CJ Stroud.
Oh, my.
Right. Trevor Lawrence, Anthony Richardson, Justin Fields, Kirk Cousins, Desmond Ridder, Jared Goff, Bryce Young again, Daniel Jones, Matthew Stafford, presuming
Hall
he
of
doesn't
Famer,
play the full
Matthew
season. Baker Mayfield again and Desmond Ridder again.
Yeah, that's crazy. That's crazy.
We play objectively one.
Would you like to do the Dolphins? Twice against Josh Allen, twice against Aaron Rodgers, Patrick Mahomes, Jalen Hurts, Dak Prescott. What is
Lamar Jackson?
Right. It's not the same. Justin Herbert to start the damn year.
Justin Herbert.
Gross. All right.
We forget.
Maybe you want to get to some of these football games this year. Well, check out Gametime. Buying tickets to your favorite events. It shouldn't be stressful, but sometimes it is. Gametime is the fast and easiest way to buy all the tickets that you need for the sports, music, comedy, and theater near you. They got killer deals on last-minute tickets, their best price guarantee. And so with all of that, you could stop stressing over getting tickets and start getting hyped for the fun that you're going to have. Folks, the app is awesome. They have flash deals. I mentioned the last-minute tickets. I love this. Images of seat views so you know exactly what to expect when you arrive. The app is super easy to navigate, and they send the tickets right to your phone. You don't got to dig through emails to find the tickets. They go right to your phone. So snag the tickets without the stress with Gametime. Download the Gametime app, create an account, and use code LOCKEDONNFL for $20 off your first purchase. Terms apply. Again, create an account and redeem code LOCKEDONNFL for $20 off. Download Gametime today. Last-minute tickets, lowest price guaranteed.
The more I look at this take, the angrier I get.
Of how easy their schedule is?
No. The rankings that Dolphins Craze gave us. We said they were 5th and 9th in yards and points last year. They were 7th and 4th in points and yards in 2021, and then they were 4th and 5th in points and yards in 2020.
Dolphins Craze is getting some pushback on it.
This is routinely a top 8 defense the last 3 years in both of those statistical categories. Never mind the schedule they play. Top 3 defense.
All right. Pounder says, take 2 teams in the AFC East will miss the playoffs and both of their head coaches get fired.
Okay, I actually don't think this is super crazy if both teams miss the playoffs.
So if it's the Jets and Patriots?
Yes.
McDaniels is safe no matter what. Wouldn't you agree?
I would assume so. I would assume
McDermott's safe no matter what.
Defense gets off the rails, they might make a front office change, but I don't think they'd make a head coaching change.
Right. McDermott and McDaniels, I think, are safe pretty much no matter what.
Yeah. If the
Saleh,
Jets, if they win 10 games with what they did this offseason to go all in, I could see them making a coaching change.
Really? If they win 10 games?
No, I'm sorry.
Rodgers wants...
I'm an idiot. I told you, my brain's not firing on all cylinders. I warned you in the pre-show.
You did.
If they win 7 games this year and miss the playoffs, if they go 7-10 with everything they did this offseason, right?
I would think so.
It's a pretty feasible realm of possibility if that's the case.
Yeah.
And say the Patriots, what do you go 7-10? That's 1 game worse than they were last year. We just did their updated depth chart yesterday to reset for the roster stuff. We're looking at it. We're like, we got a lot of solid players, man, but the composition of the entire thing is weird. And Matt Corral, I have a take for you. There is not a quarterback in the NFL less equipped to run Bill O'Brien's offense than Matt Corral.
Maybe Malik Willis, but yeah, I get your point.
It's like the whole point of cutting Bailey Zappi is saying he wasn't ready to run the offense, so he's going to be a backup, but we're going to put him on the practice squad.
Matt Corral off the street.
So you claim Matt Corral? Bailey Zappi from his 6,000-yard Western Kentucky college spread offense isn't ready for it. So let's go ahead and take Matt Corral, who played with Lane Kiffin, because he'll surely be ready to run an offense. We'll put him on the 53 instead of Bailey Zappi.
Weekly Huddle. The take here is elite interior pass rusher greater than elite edge pass rusher.
Oh, one of our tale as old as time debates, right?
It's harder
This
to
gets
find the
discussed
elite
a lot.
interior guy, right?
Mm-hmm.
Makes him more in demand, tougher to find.
Shortest distance between 2 points is a
Yeah.
straight line.
Pressure in the face.
Yep.
Compelling argument for that.
So it's Quinnen Williams versus. Do you say Quinnen Williams? Do you say Aaron Donald? Like, is Aaron just in a different stratosphere when he's been at his best?
Yeah, that's just not fair, right? Like he's so
Right.
far ahead. It's like, okay, Quinnen Williams is a normal elite interior at pass rusher, right?
Let's take the two guys that are holding out. Chris Jones or Nick Bosa?
I find myself saying Bosa.
Right. Me too. But is that just the traditionalist and the draft
Yeah, it might be.
element of us?
Quinnen Williams or Myles Garrett? I find myself saying Myles Garrett again.
You're a little stronger for Myles. And Myles is outstanding. He's top 3 defensive end in football. Like, but you were offended I put him at 3 because you put him at 1 when we did our positional rankings.
Maybe 2. You might
No,
Bosa,
you put him at 1.
over Bosa, Nick Bosa.
Yes.
No, that's fine. Yeah, I like that. That's fine.
And then I think you had TJ Watt 3 or 4.
Hate him, obviously.
Yeah. Why do you hate TJ Watt?
Had him as like the 12th player on my board that year, and everyone else said he was like a project, but that's okay.
Not everybody else.
No, not you, but other people.
Okay.
We can spike the ball together there.
Yes. I think it's really is going to come down to what the rest of your roster compensation looks like if you had to pick one. If you had to pick one in a vacuum, I'd probably want the guy on the edge just because a guy on the inside, it's easier to throw extra bodies at. Does that make sense?
No, it's true. I mean, you're gonna throw chip and tight ends and running backs, but like,
yeah, but it's all in space more.
Yeah.
Versus if you're going to take a double and they're always going to turn the center towards you, and you don't like, there's nowhere really else to go other than I got to shoot the gap now, or I got to play with power.
I know that we disagree with this take because we've already done episodes where we gave our picks for the respective Rookie of the Year winners, but I'll put it out there for Samuel. Samuel says, first time take, Jordan Addison and Emmanuel Forbes win their respective Rookie of the Year awards.
I think Addison has a decent pathway to do
over the quarterbacks, though, and the 2 running backs. That's where it gets hard for me.
Oh, yeah.
He's going to be the most productive rookie receiver. I think we both agree with that, but too many quarterbacks and running backs in the way.
He's going to have a productive rookie season, a very strong, productive rookie season.
Do you think Emmanuel Forbes has a better chance at D-Roy than Jordan Addison has at O-Roy?
Corners are already dealing with such a uphill climb.
They got to get 7 interceptions.
I get Sauce Gardner won it last year, but I pass on the corner just based off of the position.
Yeah. I would agree with you. Next one here is from Jeff. Jeff says Kyler Murray will be traded at the deadline regardless of recovery time. A QB-needy team that has a new quarterback that they can build around for an entire offseason and fit the coaches to their skill set.
I don't know what the cap implications are of that. I would imagine it's disastrous.
Of course it is, but I think Arizona's probably willing to deal with that. And if they can get, what do you think he gets? At least 2 first-round picks, maybe 3? I think he gets at least 2. At least 2, plus some change.
I wouldn't offer half of that for Kyler.
I wouldn't touch him either. You know that. I'm predictively, though.
Okay. Hold on. $46 million dead cap hit in 2024.
It's nothing compared to what the Stafford trade. This has happened, man. The precedent for taking
$46 million dead cap hit.
Didn't Matt Ryan have something crazy too? Like this stuff it happens now. And if you're Arizona and you're having the honest look that you're having with your team,
and I don't know, a
couple more first-round picks, you don't even want them. You probably don't even want them both next year. You could get future first-round picks and you'd be happy with that.
So the trade now versus the trade in the offseason, it doesn't make a difference unless it's a post-June 1st trade next year anyway, which is probably not going to happen, right?
No chance.
Okay. So in the grand scheme of things, it's 6 in one hand, half dozen the other. If you're going to move on from Kyler Murray, you're going to take on a $46 million dead cap hit next year either way.
Mm-hmm.
Unless you're going to wait until post-June 1st, and then you take a $13 million dead cap hit and a $33 million dead cap hit in 2025, and you'd probably rather just get it out of the way and move on.
Here's the caveat to the whole thing. If the Cardinals, here's why I don't think it's going to happen at the deadline. I don't think it will happen at the deadline. No way. Because the Cardinals need to make sure that they have the number one pick. If they wind up stumbling into some wins somehow and pick fourth, they're probably going to keep Kyler Murray. They're not trading up for Caleb Williams. Whoever gets the one pick is not trading out of that pick.
And who would be buying Kyler Murray at the trade deadline?
We'll have more clarity in the offseason. I don't think it happens at the deadline. That's the thing I get hung up on.
That's a good job.
Let's close on this. Johnny with a food take. Buffalo chicken dip is the GOAT football watching food.
I'm in on that.
That's tough to beat Buffalo chicken dip, with little
you
Zach's Mighty tortilla chips.
I was just gonna say Zach's Mighty
sturdy enough to hold on to it.
It can handle guac. It can handle Buffalo chicken dip.
Right, 7 layers of bean dip, all of it.
You could also eat it with like celery. I don't know. Are you a pro celery person? Are you an anti-celery person?
All the way in on celery. All the way in.
So we finally have something that we're like mutually agreeable with.
It's just the best possible vehicle to dip things. You know what I mean?
Except for Zach's Mighty tortilla chips.
Right. If you want to watch the calories or whatnot, celery's the way to go.
Yeah. If you're going to go carb light crunch, celery with buffalo chicken dip. And then you can there's the healthy versions of buffalo chicken dip are still banging. Because it's hot sauce, you can do like fat-free or reduced
hot
fat.
Sauce and chicken, bro. Like, what are we doing here?
Point like cream cheese.
Cream
right?
cheese.
That's the worry. So you do reduced fat or fat-free cream cheese, and you can eat it by the pound. So I think there's health, versatility, and options that make it such a
top of the first round. What a grade! Wow, we're just really
done. We got to end on that. We're going to George Costanza this thing. We're going to end on a high note. We're going to know when to walk away. We're out of here. Kyle Crabbs, Joe Marino takes in the book. Enjoy week 1 of college football. We had some games last night. We got some games tonight. We got some games tomorrow night. We have some games the night after that. We have some games the night after that. And then next week, we'll be back. We got NFL action coming our way next week. Week 1 starts on Thursday. Plan accordingly. Hit subscribe. You can find us on YouTube or wherever you listen to your favorite podcasts. Peace.